Hi, I'm Kate, I'm from the northeast and I have a number of chronic illnesses. I have ME, which is myalgic encephalomyelitis. I have EDS, which is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I suffer with chronic migraines and I have anxiety and depression. My symptoms for my illnesses range massively. With my ME, I get really tired and I suffer with a huge amount of pain. At my worst with my ME, I was paralysed, I couldn't move my arms, I was bedbound, my mum had to bath me, my sister had to feed me, I was really poorly with it. I still have to use a wheelchair and I get really ill. I still spend about 95% of my time in bed and I find it really hard to do any kind of activities. The main thing for me is walking. I find walking really difficult, but everything from talking to people and just doing daily activities like getting dressed, getting showered uses an awful lot of energy. Energy doesn't have to necessarily be physical, it can be cognitive as well and mental. So emotional energy, if I get stressed, that can wear me out. Mentally, if I need to think about things, that can wear me out too. And obviously physically, if I'm going out with my family or if I've got hospital appointments, that uses my energy too, so I've got to choose really wisely what I do. With my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, my main issue is my joints dislocate, which is quite exciting. So my shoulder dislocates at least 12 times a day at the moment, which isn't too great. My main dislocations are my shoulder, my hip and my ankle at the moment, and they dislocate daily, but pretty much every other joint will dislocate. EDS basically is the collagen in your body, and the collagen in your body is basically, it forms everything in your body. It's faulty, so it doesn't support your body properly. So this again makes me tired and in pain, but it doesn't just affect my joints, it affects everything from my digestive system. So that's shut down, I really struggle to eat, my gut doesn't work, we rely solely on tablets for that, and we really struggle with food intake, and we have loads of different problems. From my stomach has gone up through my rib cage before, we've had internal bleeding, we've had everything. So yeah, EDS is quite exciting too. I suffer with chronic migraines, which we've tried to get under control for a while, but it hasn't really worked. So I've had a migraine every day for the past about not every day now, I've had a few days free, but it's about for the past 3 months. And they get really severe, so I lose like all my eyesight in my left eye. I feel really, really sick, I just get put to bed, I can't do anything. And then I've been taken to hospital, been put on everything, and I'm just in a right state. It sounds really, it doesn't even sound that bad, but they're absolutely horrific, and they're so debilitating. It stops you from doing absolutely everything. You can't watch TV, you can't listen to anyone, I don't even want my mum listening to TV downstairs because it's too much. I don't want anyone comforting me or touching me because I think I'm going to be sick. I've got a phobia of being sick as well, so that doesn't help, and I panic. And yeah, so the migraines are a real issue. We're still trying to get them under control and we're not sure why they're so bad. So they're pretty severe, so they're not nice to have. And then the other thing that I suffer with is anxiety and depression, which I've had since I got ME, surprisingly as well, which is probably about 9-10 years ago. So, well, the symptoms are anxiety and depression, surprisingly. I don't really know what to say about that. I've had pretty severe anxiety and depression. It's been ongoing for a long time. We've tried a lot of tablets, a lot of different treatments. I've been very low and I've been very, very unwell with it, and we're still battling very hard. I get seen like 3 times a week still by specialists just to make sure I'm okay. With my anxiety and depression, I get a lot of symptoms related to that. I get an awful lot of panic attacks. That's been my main symptom. My panic attacks get so bad I have something called psychogenic seizures, which are pretty rare. I can only describe it as seen as someone who's having like a very severe epileptic seizure, but they can last a lot longer. So with an epileptic seizure, you would usually see someone stop within like a few minutes, whereas mine were lasting about 4 hours of just continuous shaking. So obviously it was absolutely killing me, and I was having those almost constant every day, and it took absolutely months to get them under control. Thankfully, touch wood, they're under control now, but the panic attacks aren't. I do get a lot of panic and anxiety from numerous things, like trying to get on public transport, talking to friends, going out for coffee. Things that help with my chronic illnesses, things like getting visitors. I like getting visitors. Even when I'm anxious, I quite like people visiting. Sometimes I have to say, can you just stay for 5 minutes? Or if I'm tired, I need to say, right, can you just pop in and just literally give me a hug and go? But I really appreciate visits. I appreciate messages, things like that. I always appreciate any kind of form of contact, because I'm not so good at contacting back, but I really appreciate people actually contacting me. I appreciate my family being around. Seeing my little nephew run about always makes me smile, so that's really good. Things like achieving little things or big things. I've got Project Parent going, so that's always good. Whether I do a bit of crafts one day, I always try to set myself a little target to do something each day, something that I've managed to achieve. I try to do 3 little things that I can achieve each day, whether it is getting out of bed or whether it's doing something a bit bigger or a bit smaller, depending how I'm feeling. I just try to set myself those kind of goals. I love having a bath. Having a bath's like my favourite thing, and Lush bath bombs are like my favourite thing. There's a lot of things that help me, and it can be little things and they can be big things, but you've just got to make the most of what you've got, really. Right, things you can do to help people with chronic illnesses. There's a number of different things you can do to help. In general, it depends if you'd like to help an individual or a lot of people. If you want to help people who have got chronic illnesses, you can help charities, so you can help fundraising, you can help volunteering. There's lots of different options. You don't necessarily have to give money, you can give your time. If you're good at crafts, you can do some crafting for charities. There's loads of different options available. If you want to help an individual, if you know someone who's suffering with a chronic illness, you could go around and visit them, send a card. Just any kind of post really does brighten someone's day. And then just understand and learn about the illness. And as well, if you think that someone is suffering with a chronic illness that they haven't got diagnosed, do try to help them get a diagnosis and get the support they need. I think that's one of the most important things, because suffering with a chronic illness that nobody knows what they've got or how they can be helped is probably one of the worst things. So trying to help them by going to doctor's appointments or trying to push for the right support, I think that would be one of the most important things you could do. When I was in middle school, I used to run cross country, and you wouldn't, well, it's only because I had long legs basically. I was really good at cross country, I promise you. And I was running along, and then one of my cross-country teachers said to me, he was like, run your own race, Kate. And that has always stuck with me. That's like the one like sentence in my life that I go by, which is run your own race. So I try focus on my own race. It's really hard, but don't look at other people who and what they're doing. You do have to look and see what everyone else is doing, but try not to compare. There are a lot of people who are well, who are doing a lot of things. There are a lot of people who are ill, who are doing a lot of things. And it's really easy to get caught up in both sides of things. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to check out more about invisible illnesses and Project Parent, check the links below.
Smashed it.
Boom!